So alongside that cuddly Carnage game I covered a few days ago, another demo has been released recently, Kiborg Arena. This is a fast-paced beat-em-up game where you take on multiple waves of enemies. It's very simple, it's just all about throwing hands and surviving for as long as you can. I think this will be appreciated by many people. We haven't really seen a game of this nature in a while. Personally, I think this can be compared to the likes of Bully and Sleeping Dogs. They're not really arena games, they have free roam elements and a bit more of a day-to-day lifestyle, but the fighting, punches, kicks, combos and melee weapons scratch the itch for me and definitely showcases similarities with Kiborg. Other than that, the only other game I can remember from years ago was The Warriors on PSP. I never actually played it. I think I watched a friend of mine try it when we were kids, you know, smashing bottles over people's heads and whatnot, but Kiborg is definitely a must play. It's very fun. Starting out, you're in this like a digital construct of sorts where you can either enter the arena to begin your run or complete some tutorials. I found it very useful. You're taught how to use every attack and defensive maneuver effectively. You've got your light attacks, which is mainly a mix of punch combos, more so on the boxing side, you know, maybe a touch of martial arts. You've got your heavy attacks, you know, these are seriously heavy. You can stumble pretty much any enemy with it. You can block, you can dash to evade enemies, perform lunge attacks, parry most incoming damage, kind of like the Arkham games. It sounds pretty simple, but you'll notice the gameplay is ramped up to 100 very quickly the more rounds you complete. When you enter the arena, you'll be exposed to a variety of enemies. Some of them are the same size as you, smaller, regular human-like enemies. Some are much bigger, faster, better at dodging. They can carry insane firepower. Some tower over you with cyberware armor. They carry massive hammers or bombs. So you're up against some tough competition. The game is a gauntlet, so once you're dead, the run is over. However, every couple of rounds you're given the opportunity to improve your arsenal with implants or weapons. Weapons are mainly gathered from specific mini-bosses or these containers that drop after hitting a certain wave. These could be melee weapons like knives, makeshift clubs, saw blade bats, or range weapons like pistols, SMGs and shotguns. These can be very powerful when thinning the herd, especially if they have modifiers, but that comes with a downside of it breaking or running out of ammo, so you won't be able to use them all the time. Whereas when it comes to implants, they're mainly retrieved from containers and I think mini bosses as well, so it's all random. This is what I found to be really cool. If you played Cyberpunk, you'll know what implants are like. You get these cyber weapons that are built into your body to give you supposedly permanent effects. Depending on what you choose, they may need to be charged up from drops. You can get things like shields to soften the blow from larger foes, slow down enemies by increasing the stopping power of your attacks. You can convert the energy you gain from damage dealt into resurrecting yourself. It would be nice if you had some immunity while doing it, instead of resurrecting into a throw for example. But anyway, you can create electrical explosions, surround yourself with spinning knives, have a drone protect you from close range damage, make your dashes more lethal. There's so many options. The enemies, while different in appearance, all have their own unique attacks. You can get overwhelmed quite quickly. You're kind of forced to prioritize the ones who will give you the most trouble. Health is quite hard to come by, so you have to minimize the damage you take as much as possible, or at least hold out till your next item drop to improve your chances of survival. The lunge attacks, dashes, parries and blocks you do are all powered by these shields at the bottom here, so you can't really spam everything. They regen quickly over time, but you have to be careful and ensure you don't overdo it because your character can't sprint either, so you might be a bit vulnerable if it's depleted with no way to defend yourself. Another thing to be careful of is turrets. They retract themselves when you're further away, but they can't be destroyed either, so positioning is key to avoid unnecessary damage, but there are some environmental hazards you can punch to perform some quick kills or soften enemies up too. I'd say just be careful not to drop them on yourselves. Now there is an improvements tree back at the digital construct area where you can give yourself health buffs, new combos and improve implant quality like re-rolling them, making them more resistant and so on. But all in all, that's what you can expect from the game really, or the demo at least. I like how you really have to think about weapon choices or implants from time to time, as your situation can easily change when you hit a new checkpoint. You know, some items, whilst they sound tempting to try out, they may not be the best for your survivability at that time, so you have to be careful and play your cards right so you can last as long as possible. On a random note, this might be how they designed the game to be, but one thing I've noticed is that each run gets easier the more times you redo it. Depending on when you die in Kiborg, it can save your level as a checkpoint provided you hit that threshold. So I think for this, if you survive till level 6, you can restart from there. Same with level 11, 16, 21 and so on. I'm not sure if the numbers are accurate, but you get what I mean. Here's an example. I was getting absolutely cooked between level 6 and 11, like seriously.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
But after like 4 or 5 attempts, the enemies felt a lot easier to defeat, and I kind of blitzed through the boss on wave 10 as opposed to when I started at level 6 for the first time. In a way, I guess it's designed to help you keep going. It's obviously frustrating dying, especially when you're close to a checkpoint, so I can imagine that the difficulty is adjusted slightly each time you fail. I could be entirely wrong, but that's just what I've perceived. And one other thing to consider is whether it's actually beneficial to continue from the level you just died on or starting from the beginning. When you die, you lose all the implants and weapons you gathered on that run, so effectively speaking, it would make things a lot harder starting from an earlier checkpoint, since you'll be fighting much tougher enemies with less weaponry at your disposal. But if you start from level 1, you already know what to expect. You get way more implants and weapon options since there's more waves to complete, and the enemies start off easier too. So that's just some food for thought that I gave myself, and it kind of made me appreciate this demo more now that I've thought about it. They've introduced a lot with this game, and for the time I've had, I've really enjoyed it. It's just non-stop action, just a classic throwback to the early 2000s where this type of game was prominent. I've only managed to hit wave 12 or 13 without dying, and I'm surprised I'm able to play more since, again, it's only a demo, and despite that, they've given us a lot to mess around with. But the developers have pitched a really cool idea here, and I honestly hope it succeeds. Now, I won't glaze too much. There are a few bugs here and there. Some enemies glitch out and it's hard to tell if they're actually dead at times. Some camera angles are a bit off when performing finishers. The turrets tend to spawn outside of the arena battle zone sometimes. They're not a threat, but they still shoot at you, which can be a major throw off. And in addition, enemies tend to glitch out in a way where it takes a second or two to confirm they're dead. They're just stuck in this walking position. It's really weird, but nothing I haven't seen before. This guy right here was already dead, but I didn't know that, so I tried to get him to revive me anyway. Now, the reason I found this so funny is because they didn't even give this guy a chance to perform his death animation. They just killed him on the spot and took his guns away. It took me a while to realize he was dead, but that sums up the Division for you, a glitch fest. Down. Just so you know, we are down. I'm gonna crawl to the back.
Wait, am I getting shot by my own? Oh shit. Fuck's sake. That was just my fault though. Wait, did we all die? How did we all die?
I got blown up by
Oh,
wait.
Bro, are you okay? Fucking hell.
I'm gonna send you it. I thought this
Bro, relax.
No, I'm not laughing at you.
That's so foul, man.
Furthermore, it can be a bit difficult to gauge how much damage you're actually doing to bosses. Like, for example, I was punching this guy's concrete shield consistently, but I wasn't sure if it was counting as actual damage. Upon watching it back, it seems like I was, but only in small increments, which makes sense as he's reducing damage taken from me with this defensive position. But those are the only concerns I had with the game. It's definitely got potential. There's no release date as of yet, so it may be a while till we see it in its full capacity, but shout out to the developers. I really like this game. But that's it for me. Definitely give this demo a try if you haven't already. It's very fun. If you already have, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It's been Dre, take care and see you next time.